Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the RGM Experience podcast, the podcast where we delve into the grassroots music industry and beyond and find interesting people within it. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is is a lad that's had so many experiences within this music industry, and I'm really excited to catch up with him again. It's been a while since I've caught up with a lad, and it's Tom Haywood from Whitehorse. Hey, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, pal. It's been a while since back in the Blinders days when we were driving around in my little car, gonna look at the old haunts where you all started off back in the days. That seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
I remember it fondly, Carl. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I'm a little older, a little colder. So yeah.
yeah. No, I hear that. I hear that. So yeah, so we've got a brand new band to talk about, a new project, a new passion to get involved with, and a new different way that you've gone within the music industry, which is absolutely can't wait to talk about it. Do you mind if we just have a little chit about the Blinders days?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about it that much, but
No.
sure, we can, why not?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I didn't want to talk. Obviously, saying you've moved on from the band and things have changed, but I just wanted to kind of get just a little word from yourself, just about how it came to ending. Because the last time I saw some announcements by the Blinders is you were releasing a new album. It all went dark on the socials. That's always a sign that something's going to happen, and another album come out. So and then it kind of you announced that it weren't happening anymore. So just talk us a little bit about how that came to be, because I don't think there's a lot of information about it. I'm just curious, really, if that's all right.
Yeah, no. I guess when you're involved in something for that long,
Yeah.
like I was doing that for 10 years. I'd been 17 when I started Blinders with Chaz, and there was a point where it becomes something that you can't have it to be anymore. It's as simple as that, really. So when that kind of happens, it's good to just, you know, have the bollocks to
Yeah.
recognize that and stop it, because if it's not going to happen,
Yeah.
then little reason to continue, really. So it was nothing bad, and it just become
Oh,
a very different thing.
yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to do. I had a very specific idea of what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and that would have meant changing the dynamic that existed already in that band, and I wasn't prepared to do that or put that on the lads. And I
Yeah.
just needed to fucking start again. It's like starting a new game on a fucking, like a character. Like I just got this insatiable desire to go again and refresh it completely, because I was ready to quit, really. Uh, Music for good. I was ready to quit, and then that's just a headspace thing, I was going through a lot of head changes, and
Yeah.
uh, to accommodate for that, you have to do something radically different, and that's what White Horse was. So
Yeah. Well, just as a fan of the band, and keeping in touch with you every now and again, and just having these little chats and stuff just through the years, it came as a bit of shock, and it must have been something that it can't have been in like an easy decision for you.
it's like breaking up with a girlfriend. You know what I mean? And but I'd kind of had it in my head that I was gonna be walking away from that,
Yeah.
or that we did in Los Angeles, which was wild, like spending 6 weeks out there, and blew every penny we got from the record label on making that. And I wouldn't, there's not many things that I would change in my life. I think that's a life not well lived if you're going to go about and
Yeah.
constantly, trying to change stuff and fix stuff. It was fine. I'd made peace with it. So it's cool.
So was it like was it pressure from record labels and that kind of stuff that made things go a different way to what you wanted to, or is it just was it just down to yourself?
I mean, there's always a pressure involved, but I think, like you say, the most pressure that you're ever going to get is yourself. And
Yeah.
once you're locked in that headspace, it can be a very difficult place to leave. So I had to leave it in some way, but I knew I couldn't be in the band still, and
Yeah.
and escape from that headspace. So yeah, it just had to go, man. It had to go.
Yeah. So so just moving on from the band and that kind of stuff. Because I know you mentioned yourself earlier, it's not something you two think about now. But you know, how are you now? You are, you have moved on. You in a better place yourself.
I mean, yeah, it's like grass is always greener, and then it's not, isn't it? It's like what are you gonna do? You're stuck with who you are, so it's about changing your mentality towards things. And this particular version of what it is that I'm deciding to express myself as, if you like, has just been approached with a different mentality.
Yeah.
You have to be all right with change, and change is good. It means you're moving forward. It's progression. So I'm fine. I'm sweet.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. So, because I knew from a few years ago. So, did that basically mean that you've moved away from Manchester? Then did that help with the decision?
Yeah. Yeah. So man, like Manchester was getting so expensive,
Yeah.
and uh, I'd been there for like 8 years,
Yeah.
and it was just becoming a place that was quite different to what I wanted it to be or needed it to be, and yeah, that kind of came alongside leaving Blinders, which was interesting, really.
Mm.
But needed to happen, and I'm in Sheffield now, and I fucking love it. So,
Well,
uh,
as a Sheffield lad myself who moved to Manchester, missed seeing you in the old Rosen Monkey every now and again, just having one of those little nectar boozers things that everybody enjoys. Uh,
God, I was like a fly around shit with that fucking bar, mate. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe it. No, great place. Like,
Great place,
look,
yeah.
I love Manchester, and interestingly, we still, when we're playing with Whitehorse, even
Yeah.
do good. People want to see what's going on, what we're doing, and that's obviously because like, I'd anchored myself there, so it's cool. It's a cool place.
Well, when I interviewed you in the old band at Hillsborough before you were playing the main stage at Tramlines, you
Yeah,
told me that you had more of a Yorkshire connection. I know, is it more like Doncaster? Where is that where your family is? That side of
yeah. I'm
yeah.
born and bred. Like all my fathers were coal miners and shit, and yeah, I'm like through and through Donny. Not like young blood who comes from like a big house like
Right.
15 miles outside of the centre. Like not to throw shade on him or anything, he's doing his thing. That's fine by me. But yeah, I'm from fucking proper Donny.
From Robert Donner, got it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So and that was a big thing about when like growing up, I guess, and you kind of want to maybe disregard some of your background a little bit because it can be a little, you're conscious of it. You are conscious of it,
Yeah.
and so now, I guess now moving back to Sheffield and being a little more comfortable with myself, it's good to embrace what you are because that's all you can be is who and what you are. If you I spent a long time trying to be someone else, like with the makeup and shit, literally, and uh, in a in a figurative sense as well. So
You do notice how beautiful Sheffield is when you go back, don't you? Just how
it's,
green
it's
it is.
amazing.
Just fucking. I miss the old place. I've been over here. Well, I think it's 6 years now.
Mm.
About 6 years from over Sheffield, and I'm not ready to move back yet. But there will be a time when I want to. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little bit behind everything, but it's kind of cool because I think that's why Manchester was so interesting when I was there. Was that like 5 or 6, 8 years ago? It was still in this like change period that was really exciting. Like you hear people going down to London now, and it's kind of shit because all the change has already happened. But
Yeah.
20 years ago, it must have been
Yeah.
a wonderful place to be a part of an experience. And I think Sheffield is in that process now, which is cool. But yeah, it's a great place, and the hills are fucking murder. If you're into running and stuff, like, don't live in Sheffield, man. It's
I know.
you'll have cars like fucking yeah, it's wild. But no, it's a good place.
It's beautiful and green, which is it's the first thing I notice as soon as I come off that fucking snake pass. I'm like, I'm home. I've
Yes,
made it
good
here.
old
It's so
Sheffield.
green, it's gorgeous, isn't it? You just see an old person walking down the road, and you think, oh, not that you don't anywhere else. I don't know.
No,
Came
I
into
know what you
here.
mean though. Like there's something about a place like Sheffield that you're drawn to folk like that because it is proper folk in it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
There's a realness about it, and I tell you what, like hearing a, like, I used to long for a Yorkshire accent when I was in Manchester. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you sort of come back, I don't know, there's just a swear your soul's fucking based, isn't it? Because you're born from around there, so it's a good thing.
Well, being from Sheffield myself, I had the pleasure of seeing a young kid with Lennon in his middle name, John McCulloch. And everybody say like being intrigued why he's called John fucking Lennon McCulloch. Well, and I knew that kid blow up in Sheffield and do some amazing things, support amazing people and go into this career. And I've known another member of Whitehorse as well, Nathan, from previous bands that he's been with over the years too in Sheffield, just from being in and around it all. And I knew there was a tenuous link before because they moved to Manchester for a bit when you were over there, and I knew you were good mates and things. So talk us through about the conversation that you had to finally get this thing together.
Yeah, so I've known each of these like individual lads
Yeah.
that make up White Horse in some way, and we were all or have all been threaded together by, some reason or another.
Yeah.
And in its essence, it was a room of strangers uh that come together eventually. And John had been someone I was close with for a long time, since we were 18, really, because he's from Donny as well. We used to hang around in the same bar, and we just had this very always have had this very interesting connection, and always knew we were going to do something together eventually, but just never happened. And then John moved away to Australia. Nathan worked in Barcelona for a while, and yeah, then we just kind of came to a point where I was wanting to do something. I got booked for an acoustic gig,
Right.
but I just this and I'd been talking to the lads like I want to do this thing,
Yeah.
I want to do this thing, but I don't really know what it is. But it is a load of demos, and by the way, you're not allowed to have a say on how the songs sound or what they're gonna. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like I'm not really interested in having any sort of outside input.
Mm.
I'd just like to show you how I think this should be played, and then if you play it and fancy it, then let's do it. And that was kind of it. And then naturally, when you do open the door up a bit, there is an element of creative input that seeps in. And we all got in a room for like 2 weeks before this acoustic gig. I got booked at the Rosen Monkey for the John Hall
Yeah.
Foundation. God bless John Hall.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it. And it kind of went from there. And Bobby, who sits next to me on the guitar, he's one of the most gifted musical minds I've ever come across, really. And he's just yeah, kind of like a, a glue that holds. He knows what I want from him. He's very good at that. Very good at understanding on the fly sort of thing, which you need people. And then James, the drummer, I know him because my dad is in the brass bands, still in the colliery bands.
Oh, right.
And James's parents, they play for Crofton. My dad plays for Scoresby at the moment. No, Thorsby. Fuck, I can't remember. He's gonna kill me for that. And yeah, he rang me up. Was like, look, there's this kid coming to Manchester. He's only 18. Will you just show him the ropes? We go meet him for a pint. I was like, "Oh, of course I will. Of course I will. Like, I know his parents from brass banding world. It's very, very tight community. We show him the ropes. He's just moved to uni. So I meet the kid, and we get on like an house on fire. And he's from South Empsall, which is like Donny Ways,
Yeah.
Pontefract, proper old school mining town again. And I needed a drummer when it came around, and he was a little older, 21 now, and I asked him to do it, and he did it. And I've never seen someone be able to flip into what it was that was needed in such a short space of time. Like the first rehearsal was wild, really. Uh, yeah.
I love that you said about the brass band thing because I'm from a brass band. I used to play for Woodhouse Prize Band.
Oh, get in.
Yeah, man. And my dad used to play cornet. I
Yeah.
They always use it. Let me know if you know if this is bullshit or not. They always used to say to me, because I was a bigger lad than that I can't play cornet. Well, I wanted to play all the time. Oh, because it's cooler than fucking tenor on. But they said I couldn't play because my lips weren't right size. Is that bullshit or what?
Nah, well, I mean, he's probably fucking having you on there, mate. But yeah,
Yeah, I thought
well,
so. I
my
thought
dad's
so.
my dad's a cornet player, and
Right.
my mum played flugelhorn for like
Yeah.
Carlton Frickley.
Yeah.
And then she was up at Glasgow for a few years, and they've played like the Royal Albert Hall. Like, I
Yeah.
think I've technically played the Royal Albert Hall because my mum was pregnant with me
Ah,
whilst
nice.
she was having a blow on stage. So
Did they ever do
got
the
that one.
competitions in Blackpool and stuff? I can remember playing
Yeah,
the Tower
the
and stuff in
fucking
competition when I
works,
was a
mate.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, the works. They sort of went all the way with it
Yeah.
as much as you could do in 20 years ago. You know, my dad still plays and my mum doesn't, but it's a great world, a great thing, and you know, meeting players like Pete Roberts and stuff. You know, and you just appreciate like how good those musicians are. And my dad allows me to come and just sit in the rehearsals sometimes, and that's really interesting. And you take a lot of inspiration from the way that conductors manage their rehearsal sessions, and we 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 run our band in a very similar way. You know, it's like a kitchen when we're in the rehearsal room. We just fucking graft, you know what I mean? And then when we play, it's so loose and nice because you grafted. And
It made me
yeah,
be able to read music and play a tenor horn. And but since like when I got to 16 and I kind of like fell out, I love the brass band and stuff. I wanted a guitar and do the
yeah,
guitar stuff. When you didn't really need to read music, it helped and stuff. But I kind of lot. It was one of my biggest regrets that I've lost that skill of just being able to read music and still play the tenor horn. Really,
yeah. I was never pushed into it. Like my parents
yeah, I
didn't,
think I was a
you
bit.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, yeah. So I've never learned how to read music or anything like that, and which is, you know, my dad finds insane. Like
yeah.
when he's like, "How are you playing an hour's worth of, excuse me, an hour's worth of music with, without having to reference mu music on a page?" And it was just like, yeah, it's different vibe in it. But
What is it that's so magical about it? Because last time I was in Sheffield last Christmas, I was down Kelham Island having a drink like you do, and there were a brass band in one at bars, and it was just like a brass band at Christmas, and just that, you know, they weren't a professional band or anything, and they got cobbled together a little bit, but it was still, it's always magical that kind of stuff.
there really is something
About
about it in the like, and I think magical is the word. There is a very but it's just very soulful, and like the sadness kind of penetrates a lot through brass
very
music. I
sad.
think, you know,
Yeah,
like very, you know, like I don't know. It's a little bit esoteric, isn't it? It's quite, you can't really put your finger on it, but I love brass music, and yeah, so I'm
yeah,
very proud to have that running in my blood. Really, I'd like to do a record with some brass at one point, and
yeah.
eventually, I'd of course, the first people to ask who I would get to play on that would be my parents. But yeah, we'll see.
I just think they must have been short of tenor horn players when I were a kid then, and said, "We've got loads of people that can do the trumpet, the cool stuff. We need somebody on a horn." And that must have just been me. That's funny. That's funny. But why do you think the actual like music, just in general, is so powerful? It can affect people in so many different ways, can't it? And you know, if you're on a treadmill at a gym, it can make you go faster. It can make you do faster speeds. It can urge you on. It can make you sad. It can make you happy. It can it can do any emotion that's possible in a human. Why do you think music fucking affects us the way it does?
Well, that's surely the definition of magic, is it not? You know,
Yeah,
the idea of coming in and being able to transmute yourself and your person and your being,
yeah,
and you can actually pull out that emotion of someone that might not necessarily exist. You know, like you might be putting emotions into people that they've never actually experienced before. And that's kind of the idea, isn't it? When you're making music, is to inject that into it. And so when that comes out the other side, yeah, it's a magical thing. So I've always been addicted to music for as long as I can remember. It's been a part of my life um, forever, and I just can't seem to think that there's any other medium that allows you to express and explain your life and what's going on around you. It's yeah, I mean, you know, you can read all of the best literature in the world, and film is, you know, another level, but music can be a little bit of a, you know, it's a storyline to your life, really.
And you nearly fell out of love with it, man.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. That's kind of like the, yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah, crazy.
It'll have got you back at some point, won't it? Like it has.
It has already. It
Yeah.
didn't take long at all, you know.
Yeah, sure. You've obviously made a creative change to the music that you want to do. Did the records that you were listening to, did that send you a certain way at the time, or how was that part of everything?
I mean, I listen to something different every day. Like
Hey,
I go through phases, and on Spotify I'll do like monthly playlists,
yeah,
and I'll kind of sync that up with, you know, what I'm doing, and it's cool actually looking back, and you can go through you know, what you were listening to at a particular time. Yeah, so I don't have any. I really don't. I can't pinpoint any sort of like specific moments of inspiration that have inspired this project, but because that's not really what you think about when you're making music.
yeah,
I try and listen to as or try and follow as little as possible, just because I've fell into the trap so many times before in the past of getting very, very close to other things. Like, you know, I was a outright plagiarist at one point. You know what I mean? Just couldn't help myself because I listened to some and I want to recreate that feeling. And you hear things and you think, I can do that, but I can do it better. And that is how music is made, surely.
yeah.
But at the same time, you know, yeah, you can't really do that. So yeah, I try and avoid um, direct influence as much as possible, but I'm constantly listening to music. A lot of 70s songwriter stuff I think is marvelous, really. Like, you know, Towns Van Zandt is a huge songwriting influence, but I wouldn't say any of my songs sound like Towns Van Zandt songs, you know what I mean? So but I think for this time around it was all built up on an acoustic guitar, and so that's all this is really. I just got carried away.
No,
It's meant to be an acoustic thing, and when you hear Whitehorse and you listen to the shows, it's nowhere near. You know, you're like, how the fuck is
yeah,
could that ever have been crafted in such a soft way? But it was, and but even now, you know, we've recorded the record that we're gonna do as Whitehorse. That was done 3 months into being a band because we knew that we had to capture what we were doing.
yeah.
We just recorded the set. Like, literally the track listing of the album is the set list that we were rolling with after like 3 gigs. Recorded it in 3 days, 4 days, and then overdubbed, made the record in a week basically. So it's done, and that's fine. That's we're now moving on to the next one, because it has to be that way. You have to.
It sounds creatively like you've made your mind up. It's going to be how you want it to be.
I don't think
from
you can
now
really
on.
approach a project any other way
Yeah,
if you're if there's any degree of apprehension, then people sniff that out like dogs. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
people know. So you have, and that was, I think, and I hate fucking going back and flogging the dead horse that isn't even a corpse anymore. It's a fucking skeleton. But going back to the blinders, and it was, I think I lost my confidence there, really. And I knew that would come through. That bleeds through. Once that's gone, you can't really go back. You have to jump ship.
yeah.
And yeah, that's it. This is a very confident thing. I know what it is I'm doing now. I know where we're going and what we need to be.
So no conflicts from anybody about it's your songs in the recording process or anything like that. Any funny moments where people have tried to change things
No,
more than what you wanted to or anything like that?
yeah, but they kind of knew what they were getting into
Yeah,
anyway. Like I can't
it's a
explain.
big thing it's a big thing to start a project with that though, isn't it? And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
finding the right people that will say yes to that kind of stuff.
you know what I mean. Like it's crazy talk, really. If someone was to say that to you, you'd be like, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that." That's a ridiculous,
Yeah,
suggestion. But it kind of had to be that way. I was like, look, I've got
yeah,
this very firm idea in my head. I know what it is that I need to get to. And David Lynch says, like to always go to the initial idea and yeah, as close as you can get to that, really. And that that was accepted, and I kind of set up the doors there. If you're not into it, that's fine. Like just I'll find other people. But
it was
yeah.
never going to be Tom Haywood and the Summit. It was
Oh
never
well,
going to be
that's a step too far, isn't
yeah,
it?
well, that's what, yeah.
It's all well and good, like doing all the songs and shit, but
Yeah.
like, God, I don't know if I could do that to myself, man. Maybe if
People
I had
make
a fake
a lot of
name.
bands make the mistake of doing that. I think, particularly solo artists that build a band around them, saying them and the thingy. It's just like for
Well,
me as an audience fan, I want to see a collective. I don't want to see
yeah,
two groups of people. I don't like it.
nah, don't get me wrong. Like this is not a solo project. Like this is,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
and and those boys are gonna go through it with me all the way.
Yeah.
And they're fucking credit to them. Like they're amazing. Like I couldn't have come across a more correct version of people
Yeah.
at this stage of my life right now as them boys. That we're gonna go all the way with it. So
I didn't mean you guys, by the way.
no, no,
it was just a comment on. But when I see bands of with certain somebody's name and the others, it just feels.
yeah,
I don't like that as an audience member. Just seeing two groups of people when it should be one. It should be one.
yeah. No, it's interesting. Like we always we're gig goers, we're music
Yeah.
listeners. You know what I mean? So like it's the same thing for us. Like we're conscious as music lovers as well. So yeah, you're always thinking about those things. I don't think you can be in a band and make music if you're not an audience member as well. Like that's what I am at the heart and soul of it.
Well, it's exciting times. I know you've just booked Float Along Festival, the festival I went to last year in Sheffield, which is a class festival. Do you know what stage you're on yet? And are you allowed to say out like that?
Oh, I'm so bad with like admin shit, mate. I just
It'll
I
be on
just
the
turn
poster
up.
so you can people will
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah. I get told on the day and I play. I do my thing, mate, and then I
Yeah,
fuck off.
fair enough. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Don't blame you. So there's a few things that we can't quite talk about yet with Whitehorse. You've got a few things bubbling. Album number 2 at First Point, but let's get first one out first.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I get a little bit ahead of myself on these interviews, but is there anything
Always.
that you want to specifically say to the people that haven't seen your transition from those old people, that old band into this new creative thing that you've got? Have you got a message for those people that
No, really, because you you don't really ever anticipate that people are into you anyway,
yeah,
or like, so the fact that anyone like comes to shows and stuff is cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I have an insatiable desire to like do it and express, and this is what I'm having to do at the moment. And yeah, I think you mentioned earlier in the interview like about passion. Like whatever your passion is now, and this is definitely it. You know what I mean? It is a very passionate thing, and just in love with it, really, like a wife.
Yeah. Well, you might be underestimating yourself a little bit, mate. You've changed a lot of people's lives through the years with your music and your lyrics and your playing and everything like that. I think you might be underestimating yourself a little bit. A lot of people care about you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Fair enough. You don't like it. Yeah, fair enough. Well, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you again and just catching up with your new projects and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited to. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold you to saying that I can tag along to one of your gigs in Manchester next time you're over, and I'll try and get.
Yes, mate. Yes, you won't be paying for tickets ever. You're a legend, Carl.
I'm a Yorkshireman, mate. I'm a Yorkshireman.
Yes, yeah.
But really appreciate your time. I know you're out about. I know you're busy. Really appreciate your time, mate. And yeah, till next time, pal. I'll see you around, and good luck with the new project, mate. You love it.
Thank you, Carl.
Cheers, pal.